One more?
What number is it?
It was on the other side of the section.
Okay, sorry.
To bless our homes and families, source of life who calls us here. In a world of stress and tension, to the love that conquers fear. Help us learn to love each other with a love that constant stands. Teach us when we face our troubles, love's expressed in many ways. When our way is undemanding, let us use the time that's ours to delight in simple pleasures, sugar joys and gentle hours. When our way is anxious walking and a heavy lack we bought, teach us trust in one another and in you, our gracious God. When the homes in which we're nurtured with the love that makes us there, teach us God to claim as family everyone whose life we share. And through all that life may offer, may we in your love remain. May the love we share in families be a life to treasure name. We're done?
I think.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. There we go. Welcome. Welcome, everyone, to our special 100th anniversary presentation. We are so glad that you chose to be with us to enjoy our meal together and to celebrate our 100th year as the United Church of Canada. So the planning committee for this event asked Lydia and me to host this evening, and we said yes right away. And then Lydia went to work and did all the work.
It's a little bit like hosting the Academy Awards, don't you think? Or maybe the Grammys?
Yeah, you and I are kind of like, let's say, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Or Martin Short and Steve Martin.
Or,
The Smothers Brothers.
or,
Regis and Kathy Lee. But, Bernie, there is one thing.
what's that?
We're not that funny.
Right. So I guess you're going to have to make do with Lydia and Bernie, two friends,
And Erzat's cousins,
members of Knox.
who are about to take you on a trip down memory lane.
So let's get this party started. First up is the Spirits Kid Club, grades 3 to 7, and they are going to lead us in some singing together.
good. Yes. Okay, so one of the favorite songs that the kids love to do is called My Lighthouse, and so we are going to do that, and I think the kids are going to do some motions with it too. And if you know the song, please sing along. You certainly can do the chorus.
And if you don't know the right motions, just make some motions.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Here we go.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse.
Shetler, and Spirit Kids Club, grades 3 to 7. "100 years. Now that sounds like a pretty long time, doesn't it? But as far as churches go, the United Church of Canada is really just a youngster. The Roman Catholic Church dates back to the 1st century of the Common Era, and our Anglican and Presbyterian neighbors can trace their history all the way back to the 16th century, 500 years ago. So they're 5 times as old as we are.
So we are a young church, and uniquely and exclusively Canadian.
That's right, Bernie. So tonight is an evening to reminisce, to remember, and to celebrate this United Church of ours.
I'm wondering, Lydia, how much do we know about the history of the United Church? You know, how did it all begin?
Well, how about, Bernie, we find out. We just happen to have a little pop quiz for you. Bernie and I are going to ask a number of questions, and if you know the answer, don't be shy, shout it out. Okay, first question.
Can you name the 3 denominations which came together to form the United Church of Canada?
I heard Presbyterian.
I heard Methodist.
That's it. Congregationalists. Not that.
Oh, was our answer wrong? Oh,
It was wrong.
okay, good. Okay, Methodist, Presbyterian, Congregationalist, right?
Correct.
All right. You're next.
Oh, am I? And besides these 3 long-established denominations, there was also another group of churches, mainly found out here in the West, that had already kind of joined together prior to 1925, and they came into union with the other 3 denominations. Do you know what we called those churches? Union churches. Yes, union churches. Well done, Judy. Excellent.
All right. What year did the United Church come into being? You all know that one. Good. All right. Has something to do with this being 2025, I suppose.
True. Okay, little harder question. What date, month, and day was the first inaugural service? Yes. June 10th, 1925.
There's
Correct.
some smarty pants
They're
out
very
here, aren't they?
smart,
Yeah.
yes.
In what city was the we struggle with that word, inaugural service held? Toronto, right.
Toronto. This is a lot harder one. But if you were paying attention up on that screen, you might know the answer to this. Tell us what venue the inaugural service was held in. Mutual Street Arena. Well done. Last question.
Who was the first moderator of the United Church of Canada? Who? Oh, Marie. She got it. Sir George Campbell Pigeon. Sorry. Pigeon, right.
Hey, great job, everybody.
You'll learn more of this tonight as the evening goes on.
That's for sure. Because we have some very special guests with us tonight who are going to help us recall our church's history and specifically that first inaugural service. We have tonight the very great privilege of welcoming to our stage the world-renowned Knoxing Around Comedy Club, coming to you from an extended engagement at the Bunclody Municipal Hall.
And before we get them on stage, we want you to know that the sketches you are going to see throughout tonight's presentation are excerpts from a play written by Scott Douglas entitled Maybe One, a theatrical history of the United Church. We are grateful to Scott, who has given us his play free of charge to present to you this evening. Now, just so you know a little background to Scott, he is the son-in-law of Stan McKay, who was the first Indigenous moderator of the United Church of Canada. So, on with the show. Please welcome the Knoxing Around Comedy Club.
Well, good evening, church fans, and welcome to Union Night in Canada from the Mutual Street Arena in Toronto. I'm Ron McCain, and as usual, I'm here with the ebullient and sophisticated Don Sherry.
All right, listen up. It's going to be one heck of a rock'em sock'em game tonight.
It certainly will, Don, as the Methodist, Presbyterians, and Congregationalists all try to unite into one amalgamated, consolidated, confederated, combined...
Stop trying to be Howard Cosell, McCain. Just say united and get on with it.
All right, Don, I will. The One United Church. The date is June 10th, 1925. The idea for church union's been in the works since 1902. But it all comes down to this moment, this ceremony, this arena, the Mutual Street Arena, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's a packed house here. There are 7,046 people in the crowd, a choir of 250 representing all of three denominations, 150 commissioners, 3 of them women. There are representatives from the so-called union churches and...
Yeah, like anybody cares. Let's get to the fighting.
Oh, well, there certainly has been fighting, Don. The church union team is going to have to play the best game of the season if they want to see this united church idea get off the ground.
Now let me say a thing or two about this church union. Out in the West, they've been doing the union thing for years because it's practical and it's an effective way to keep up with the change in society.
So, in your opinion, church union is pretty much inevitable.
In your dreams, McCain. The anti-union team is a bunch of heavy hitters. They're going to take it to the boards trying to stop church union.
And here come the teams. Now, Reverend George Pidgeon of the church union team will be soon facing off against Reverend Ephraim Scott of the anti-union team.
That Pidgeon guy's a good player. It ain't no wonder they named him moderator of the Presbyterian Church. He may be named after a bird, but he ain't no chicken.
What do you think about Ephraim Scott, captain of the anti-union team?
Ephraim Scott, now this guy is a bruiser. As the editor of the Presbyterian Record, he puts the tank in cantankerous. Some people say he's too old, but I say at 80 years old, he's just coming into his prime. I mean, look at Wayne Gretzky. He was 99 when he retired.
That was his number, Don, not his age. Oh, and it looks like Pidgeon and Scott are in positions for the face-off.
Presbyterian meets Presbyterian. We're going to see some sparks here.
There's the hand. Oh, a snub. A definite snub. Let's see that again. Oh,
listen up. I'm here at ice level with the Reverend Ephraim Scott. F, that was some nice move there.
I will not shake hands with that man.
This union is a national crime. They're trying to blot out the Presbyterian Church. But we'll stop them. Aye, we've a strong defense. But mark my words, we can be offensive as well.
Okay, I've also got Dr. Samuel Chown here, General Superintendent of the Methodist Church and Captain of the Church Union team. How about the beating Pigeon took in that face-off, Sam?
Well, it's not over till it's over, Don. We're inspired. We have a vision of Dominion-wide service. We're going to give it 110% and be a unified force for bringing Christ's message to the world!
That's great, Sam. Say, didn't you once say the reason you was doing all this was to keep the Catholics from gaining religious control of the country?
Well,
Come on, Sam. You know you said it. Don't try weaseling out.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, Don, but things are really heating up at center ice. One of the anti-union players has just been sent to the penalty box for trying to coerce another player into voting against union. The referees are desperately trying to control the ensuing brawl. Oh, it's pandemonium down there, Don. I can't hear myself think.
Now that's the way the game should be played.
Oh, it looks like 38% of the Presbyterians are opting out of union. The Presbyterians are split.
Oh, that's gotta hurt. They're heading to the showers and they're taking Knox College with them.
Hang on, Don. Hang on. Something's happening at center ice. Apparently, the Congregationalists, the Methodists, and the remaining Presbyterians are trying to make a go of it. It looks like, yes, a union, a definite union. Kind of grumpy and not too happy about all the splits in the respective congregations, but a union nonetheless. The only thing left now is the closing hymn.
The Congregationalists are pushing for God of grace and God of glory. The Presbyterians want something from the Scottish Psalter, and the Methodists are insisting on something by Wesley.
Oh, let's just leave them. Let's leave them to work that out while we announce the most valuable player of the union. The game's MVP will become the new church's first moderator.
What? No car?
No car. So what's your guess, Don?
Oh, I gotta say Chown. He played a solid game, and though I think he could have dropped the gloves a little sooner, he really held the team together.
John's my choice too. But I don't think the demoralized Presbyterians are going to like the idea of a Methodist moderator. That's bound to cause some hurt feelings. Chown's on his feet, presumably accepting nomination.
I've thought it over, and I feel a Presbyterian should be nominated moderator. And I'd like to vote for George Campbell Pigeon.
Now that's a classy move. He was a shoo-in for moderator, but he passed it up for church unity.
Is Jesus Christ our Lord? She is
And George Pigeon is the new moderator of the new United Church. What an historic day, Don. An exciting bit of denominational union and an act of real love that certainly bodes well for this new church. That's the game, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in again in 1968 for another exciting game of Union Night in Canada.
That's when the Leafs stopped winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that was about it. That's right. Yeah. Local blackouts in effect.
So, that was the beginning of our illustrious church, more or less. Music has always been a vital part of our church's history. Here he comes. Don't need to tell you that, Bernie. Music is always important. And at that very first inaugural service, the 250-voice choir led in the singing of the opening hymn, and we heard a little bit of it, The Church's One Foundation.
So let's sing it now. The church's one foundation, one verse. You and I have both been at Knox for a long time, but we've also attended other United churches in our lives. My home church was Dand, Manitoba, a small community halfway between Hartney and Deloraine.
And my home church was St. Paul's on 8th Street, which later became Central United Church, after it amalgamated with First United Church in 1969. You see them up there? First Church United was right across the street, right across Lorne Avenue from St. Paul's.
So why were there two United churches right across the street from each other?
Strange, eh? Well, it has to do with their history, of course, because First Church United, the red brick one, was actually a Methodist church, First Methodist Church. And St. Paul's United was St. Paul's Presbyterian Church. So along comes 1925, they both become United churches, right across the street from one another.
Now, I know how attached we get to our buildings.
That's right.
So that must have been kind of interesting, those two congregations making the decision, which building are we going to live in?
That's right. I was just a youngster, of course, when this happened, but my understanding was, well, you could still tell who belonged to First Church United and who belonged to St. Paul's years and years after the amalgamation happened. The compromise was we kept our building, St. Paul's, and First Church United kept their minister, Reverend Ed Jarvis.
Many of us have very good memories of our home churches. So we've asked a few people to tell us a little bit about their home church. So let's start with Maureen Cobb and Duncan Waddell. Maureen's home church is St. Andrew's in Manitou, and Duncan is going to tell us a little bit about Newdale United Church.
Can you hear me? Good. My memories of St. Andrew's United Church Manitou is during the 50s and 60s. And my earliest memories is attending church on a Sunday with our family, which included my grandma. And as in those days, every family seemed to have a pew that became their regular spot. I truly loved attending Sunday school, and I tried to never miss a Sunday so that I would get a bar to add to my pin, which indicated perfect attendance. Brother Jack and I each had pins which indicated 8 years. At age 9, I got to join the junior choir, and this was exciting times. We got to wear white choir gowns over our church clothes, and I think I thought I was elevated to the position of an angel. And throughout the years, I attended Mission Band, Explorers, CGIT, with Mom being a leader for both Mission Band and Explorers. Our family had a close relationship with Reverend Bray, as he was the minister when my dad was ill with cancer and passed away 3 years later. Mom was left to raise 3 children, ages 4, 11, and 12, and both Mom and grandmother both said what wonderful comfort and support he provided to our family. And in fact, the entire church community was a large part in our healing and moving forward. Jim and I got married at St. Andrews, July 12, 1969. And prior to our wedding, we had to meet with our new minister, Reverend Fraser Muldrew, for marriage prep classes. And we each had to fill in questions on our views of marriage and raising a family. Then the following week, we had to meet with him again to ensure that we were compatible. The only question that caused a problem was with how we would handle the disciplining of future children. I had replied that if we had a difference of opinion in disciplining, I would not comply with Jim, rather promote my opinions as being the better choice. Poor Reverend Muldrew said that this would cause serious problems in the future if I would not agree to follow Jim's lead. We will celebrate 56 years of marriage in July. And the week prior to our wedding, the pews were varnished and truly sparkled with the high veneer finish. Unfortunately, the day of the wedding, it was in the 90s with high humidity. And that was the era when all the women were wearing that new spongy-like wrinkle-free Fortrell dresses, and the dresses stuck to the pews. And each time the ladies stood up, they sort of peeled the dresses off the pews. And over the years, we've attended so many funerals from this beautiful church. 2 grandparents, all 4 parents, many aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends. And at those times, it always gives us a sense of comfort and peace to return to St. Andrews.
Thanks, Maureen. My hometown church was Newdale, and Union of the Newdale Presbyterian and the Newdale Methodist was formed in 1922, and 3 years prior to the formation of the United Church of Canada. And there was St. Andrews, a rural church about 4 miles south of Newdale, had entered church union in 1925. And St. Andrews had amalgamated with the Newdale United Church in 1950 and assumed their share in erecting the new United Church building in Newdale, which opened in 1951, fully furnished and equipped at a cost of $23,275, debt-free. And there was a beautiful stained glass window as part of that building. My memories, I don't remember this event, but I have the distinction of being the last baby baptized in that rural St. Andrew's Church. Like Maureen, I remember Sunday school. There were several classes, all well attended, baby band, mission band, where we each had our little cardboard banks for penny offerings. I wish they'd kept one, but they were kind of paper. And who can forget those fall suppers with the tables laden with food and a huge selection of home-baked apple pie or all kinds of pie. And the hours the ladies spent in preparing food, cooking and carving turkeys, and then washing the dishes by hand afterwards. And I recall one year's fall supper where the church treasurer, she was a very conscientious widow, took home the night's proceeds. And when she got home, she couldn't find the chocolate box, which she had put it in. So panic hit, of course, and then she spied the box sitting on top of the roof of the car. She'd come all the way from the hall home. She never drove very fast. Anyway, that's just one thing I remember. There were church ladies groups such as the WMS, the Evening Auxiliary, and the UCW provided catering for funerals, farm auction sales, and other community events. And I recall one Sunday when my young nephew, who was still crawling, managed to crawl his way to the front of the church to say hello to the minister in the middle of his sermon. And that minister is with us tonight, and I know he remembers this very well. Fall canvassing seemed to be a necessary task, but it gave the opportunity to visit with the shut-ins and the seniors. Prior to Christmas, we always had this mitten tree at the front of the church, and the ladies and the kids hung stockings and knitted toques and sweaters and toys, and all this was being donated then to child and family. Christmas Eve service was always highly anticipated, with a pageant, carol singing, and Silent Night by candlelight. And since coming to Knox in 2012, Audrey and I have had the pleasure of joining in worship with two of our former ministers, David and Peggy Barrows and Lydia. And we enjoyed and appreciated the spiritual leadership they gave us in Newdale.
Thanks so much, Duncan and Maureen. You know, Bernie, where are you? There you are. Church is kind of like family, isn't it? Extended family. And like most families, we have our disagreements from time to time.
Our United Church has gone through some pretty high-profile arguments over the years. In fact, we've had church fights now and again all throughout our 100 years of history.
Oh, look, Bernie, here comes Hyacinth Drudgeon, all the way to us from 1930. She's got something on her mind. Let's have a listen.
I told them, long before we got into this whole union shambles, I said to the women of the Ladies' Auxiliary, ladies, beware. The traditions of our forefathers will be deserted and we will be left desolate. And sure enough, my words have come true. The camel's spine has been shattered, and this is the offending straw, the cancer in the bud, the splinter in the eye of all faithful Christians. This new hymnary. They say we need a new hymn book to reflect our three denominations. Does this mean maliciously omitting those beautiful songs that form the cornerstone of our religious life? Like, where is Bringing in the Sheaves? Where is Amazing Grace? Where is the church in the wildwood? Oh, come, 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 come to the church in the wildwood. How could they leave out those beautiful songs? And the songs they have included, they are unsingable. Oh, I am angry. I am very angry. I cannot stand idly by and watch my faith, which I hold so dear, pardon my language, but peed on in such a way. I won't stand for it. I can't stand for it. I'm leaving the church. This is the last you'll see of me.
Hyacinth sure didn't like that blue hymnary, but I guess she and everyone else got used to it. We sang from the Blue Book all throughout our childhood.
That's right, and I don't know about Dan, but every single Sunday morning at St. Paul's, we sang the same hymn from that blue hymn book to open the service. Any guesses what that opening hymn was? You got it. Holy, holy,
Rather
holy.
unanimous comment there.
Let's sing it now. Let's stand.
Wow, I think we should put that back in our repertoire. That was... Let's ask Jerry and Marg Wetter to come up and tell us a little bit about their home churches. Dand United Church and Deer Lodge United Church in Winnipeg.
Thanks, Bernie. So Bernie and I grew up in the same community, and our congregation, the home congregation there, started out in a Quaker meeting house. And that Quaker meeting house was built in 1899, and the congregation, so far as I know, didn't join the Union Church, but joined directly to the United Church in 1925. That building was eventually moved to the village of Dand in 1949. The first minister was a woman, Miss Alma Dale, and she served the community. She lived in Hartney, 8 miles away, and commuted by horse and buggy, which she did on her own. Through the years, we had excellent ministers, both men and women, but one that I remember in particular was a fellow by the name of Ralph Clark, Mary Gunson's dad. And Ralph was, he was unique, perhaps in many ways, but one thing he was able to do was to visit the congregation. Whether you were a churchgoer or not, Ralph would show up. I remember particularly one time when he showed up at our farm, and my dad was surprised when Ralph found out what we were doing, and he went to his car, opened the trunk, got out his coveralls, put them on, and joined in the tough job that we were doing. So we were impressed with Ralph. And as 16-year-old boys, like I was at the time, when Ralph showed up one Sunday with a brand new 1957 Dodge car, and if any of you remember the 57 Dodge, it had those huge tail fins. So Sunday services at Dan were a big deal. There was always Sunday school with an adult class followed by a 1-hour regular church service, and everybody attended both. Music at Dan was important. The musician who played the piano and the organ for many years was our great aunt, Mabel. And when she finished, Bernie's mom, Aunt Dorothy, took over, and she played for, 30-some years, up until the church closed in 2005. Another aspect of the music was that in the late 60s and early 70s, there was a teen group called the God Squad, and of course you know who one of the members was. Christmas Eve was important to us also. Duncan, you mentioned that. At Dan, we had the unique feature of wanting to use lots of candles and then place them in a log at the center of the church. And eventually we realized that wasn't such a good idea, but we never did start a fire. Neighbors in the community led the various youth groups, whether it was CGIT, Explorers, Tyro, or Sigma C. The one leader of Sigma C that I remember so distinctly had an annual Chain Lakes Hill toboggan run, and he and his wife would invite us up to their house afterwards for hot chocolate and freshly made sugar donuts. That was yummy. The church facility was used for many, many purposes: 4-H meetings, piano recitals, National Film Board film nights, St. John's Ambulance first aid courses, defensive driving, and at the time of the Quebec FLQ crisis, we had a study group over 2 or 3 nights to deal with that. The current owners of the church had it moved in 2020 to the shoreline of one of the Chain Lakes. And that's the picture on the right there. It's a really beautiful site, and thanks to my brother and Bernie and about 3 others, after the church had closed, they took possession of it for a few years just to make sure that it didn't get demolished. And so this is what's come of it. I know it takes a village to raise a family, and so for Margie and I, that village for us was mostly Dan.
Hello. I grew up in sunny St. James. Our church was Deer Lodge United Church. It was on the corner of Belvedere and Portage Avenue. And it was started in 1946, but it took 10 years to build the church, so 1946 to 1956. So I think the one picture is my parents got married and my mother, my stepfather, I should say, got married there in 1956, and they were married in the basement of the church, so the upper level hadn't been built yet. Unfortunately, it closed in 2004 and was demolished in 2012. And I don't know how much thought went into it, because I wasn't there at that time, but it seems like it probably could have been repurposed, but it was a big, beautiful brick building, much like this, actually. Anyway, the minister for the whole time that I was there, and I started church there when I was 3, and I continued there till I was 20, was Reverend Russ Vickers, and he was great. Anyway, it was a fabulous experience for me, and it really taught me a lot of values that have lived with me throughout my time. The value of friendship, the value of spirituality, of being sociable, of social justice, of music, volunteerism, so many things. The friendships were built through all the usual. I went to Explorers, went to CGIT, was in the church choir, all that kind of thing. And I made fast friends that I'm still in touch with and are really important to me. As far as spirituality, we had an amazing Sunday school class, 40 kids, lots, probably equally girls and boys. And our teacher was Dr. Judy from United College, and he really encouraged a lot of thoughtful discussion. He was very tolerant of diverse opinions. Yeah, we were super rambunctious, and it was very fun. I learned how to socialize, and in the youth group, it was probably much like Spirit Kids Club. We went bowling, we had movies, we had dances. We used to volunteer at Hugo and Tecumseh, which was a park that was for inner city kids, and we'd go and play games with them. Probably the most fun we ever had there was when Burton Cummings came to our church. He was my age. He was hot. And we were crazy about him. And he would come to Deer Lodge and play for our dances. He would play for Silver Heights Church, and we go there, we go to the community clubs. We followed him around, and along with him, it was the Deverons, was his group. And then along with him was Chad Allen and the Impressions. And Chad Allen started the two groups, the Guess Who, and he started BTO. And he's kind of undersung because he really quit early in the day, but he started both those bands. So we were fangirls, and we would follow them all over the place. It was great. Yeah, so that was the beginning, well, not the beginning of my love of music, because I sang in the choir from the time I was 6 till I was 18. And our choir leader was Molly Finkbeiner, who was from Show Lake. She was Molly Stalker, I think her name was, and she taught at Isabella, and she married Ted Finkbeiner. I don't know if those are names that are familiar to people who lived in that area. Yeah, she was fabulous, and she was our choir leader for the whole time. And I also made incredible friends with that choir. My interest in social justice came probably through the youth group, but what I can remember is these church steps, sorry. Maybe I should comment first of all on these marriages. So that's, Jerry and I were married there. Haven't changed a bit. And my parents, of course, were married there. My sister was married there, and most of my friends. So there were lots of very happy occasions. Yeah, so this one night, October 28th, 1962, I remember huddled on those steps, super dark. There were a whole bunch of us, and we were all hugging in a big huddle and absolutely sick with worry about the Cuban Missile Crisis. We knew that the boat with the nuclear warheads was on its way to Cuba, and we were fully aware of the possibility of nuclear war, and we were kind of praying, and we were also just terrified. And the next day, that problem was solved. So the Monday, October 29th, 1962, the powers that be, probably Khrushchev and the Kennedys, I think, gave it some careful thought and decided nuclear war probably wasn't a good idea. And that day, the ship with the nuclear warheads turned around and went back. And, you know, we thought maybe our prayers were answered, and but also knew there was some careful negotiating going on with the politicians. Anyway, church was vitally important to me. I'm just so happy to have been part of it, and I'm also very happy to be part of this congregation. I'm incredibly proud of it, and it's a joy. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry and Margaret. Well, as Jerry mentioned, both Jerry and Bernie grew up at Dand, and I was at St. Paul's Central when I was young. Bernie, do you remember the Sunday school program that you had at Dand Church?
Yeah, I don't particularly remember the curriculum, but our Sunday school teacher was Jane Manchrick. And in that class, that was the memorable class, but we had to do quite a bit of memory work. So of course there were the books of the Bible, there was the Creed, and and the 23rd Psalm. And then we did also have to do some memory of some Bible verses. And there's one that I remember in particular. It was expressing some of the emotions that Jesus was feeling. And with your permission, I'd like to do it now.
Go ahead, Bernie.
So I'd like to give you my rendition of John 11, verse 35. Jesus wept. Thank you.
Well done. I can't top that. However, we had cartoon sheets at our Sunday school, and they were called Sunday Picks, and they looked like that. They were really colorful. They were kind of like comic books. I think Laura Cruikshanks remembers, and Lorna Smith remembers those Sunday Picks. My brother and I really liked them because they looked like comic books. They were colorful, but my parents sure did not like them. They had a very literal approach to the Bible, and so the theology was a bit suspect. But all that would take a very dramatic turn.
Somewhere in the 1960s, there was a breakthrough in the Sunday school curriculum. It was a revolution, really. It caused quite a stir. I think I see someone entering from that era. She's coming onto stage right now.
Here is the church. Here is the steeple. Open the doors, and the 1950s were a boom time for the United Church of Canada. In the early 60s, they put out study programs for adults and for Sunday schools, using the kind of biblical scholarship and interpretation that had been used for years in theological schools and seminaries. But now it was reaching the people in the pews. Wow.
Myth, they say. Apparently, the world was not created in 7 days, despite the fact that the Bible clearly says it was. Noah and the flood, Jonah and the whale, the entire Christian faith reduced to myths and lies by those new curriculum blasphemers and their atheistic philosophy. No virgin birth? Why, it is the same as saying that Christ was not divine. For this, they spent $1 million. These books should all be gathered in one spot and burned. And if I weren't a Christian lady, I might go so far as to say that the authors of these books should also be burned. But I am a Christian lady, and I will rest calm in the knowledge that these godless deceivers will find certain destruction at the hands of the Creator they defy. Mark my words, this new curriculum is a wholesale sellout to Satan. I won't stand for it. I can't stand for it. I'm leaving the church. And this is the last you are going to see of me.
The new curriculum had its day. It came, caused a ruckus, enlightened a generation of young people, and went. It became the old curriculum. It was replaced by many others. Remember, the whole people of God, seasons of the Spirit, imaging the Word, Each curriculum tried to keep up with the changing times and the changing ways of engaging young people in their faith.
Well, since tonight is an opportunity for remembering, do you remember all those little kids' hymns we sang when we were little jiggers? Any of these ring a bell? God sees the little sparrow fall. Jesus bids us shine. Jesus loves me. When he cometh, we're going to sing them now.
You guys will all know these, right? They got this blank look on your face. With Jane's help, why don't we see if we can sing one verse of each one? Jesus loves me. Jesus bids us shine. When he cometh. Lady wanted to know who Winnie was. Winnie cometh, you know, Winnie. Tell me the stories of Jesus. God sees the little sparrow fall.
This one's for all the explorers out there. Lorna, Judy, Laura, here we go.
This is my Father's world.
This
Thank you. You can be seated. That sure brings back a lot of memories.
Sure does. So I guess, Bernie, it's time for us to move out of our childhoods and see what our present day group of young people are doing at Knox. So we welcome Antoinette and Spirit Kids Club.
Welcome to tonight's meeting of Faith Prince Anonymous, a support group for those who show evidence of their faith and spirituality. I'm Antoinette, and I'll be your facilitator for tonight's meeting. Who wants to go first?
Hi, my name's John.
Hi, John.
I had a really scary experience this week. It's difficult to share. I was walking down the hall at ACC feeling kind of down, and I caught myself humming Moving Me, that song the kids have been dancing to at church, and that's not the worst parts. I actually felt better, and I must have smiled or something, because one of the other teachers at ACC asked me, "Hey, what are you so happy about? Does any of you know what it feels like to get caught singing a church song?"
We've all been caught before, every single one of us. We know what it feels like. Hang in there, John.
Hi, my name's Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
This all started for me about 43 years ago. My children got involved in Sunday school and the kids' choir and the cantatas. Then I met some really amazing people like Audrey Silvius and Bev Ramcharan and and Bill Burkus. Then I got involved with outreach activities like the 10 Days for Global Justice and the Kairos campaign. I remember when Audrey and the outreach committee recommended a motion to council that the congregation's bank account be moved to a credit union since they did not make loans to the South African apartheid government. Boy, did that cause a stir. I've been involved with justice and outreach for so long that it's all getting hard to keep straight. It's become such a dominant part of my life.
It's hard to stop, Debbie. Easy does it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cease.
Hi, Cease.
Lee and Bob Clark welcomed us to Knox in 1972. Before long, Lee asked us to get involved in an outreach project, visiting folks at the correctional center. I was uncomfortable at first. You know, I like to joke around a lot, but I wasn't sure that would work. I mean, what do you say to someone in jail? How's it going? They're going nowhere for the time being. Well, after a while, I found it really exciting and fulfilling. I'm becoming somewhat of a pro at visitation.
It's really amazing where faith can lead you, places you would never picture yourself going. We've been there, Cease.
Hi, my name is Leanne.
Hi, Leanne.
It began quite innocently enough. I mean, I was brought up in the United Church. I was baptized, confirmed, and all the usual stuff. I went to Sunday school and youth group. I suppose it was a gradual thing here at Knox. One day, I realized I should get more involved with the Spirit Kids Club. Holy moly. It's not like when I went to Sunday school. Craig's services go on forever, and I found myself having to come up with all kinds of creative things to do with the group. Craft time for me was a real high, and we're not sniffing glue. I realized one day that I really cared about these kids, even when they were belching or laughing or running around. I mean, I really love those children. Why can't I stop? I'm sorry, I love them so much.
One day at a time, remember, one day at a time.
Hi, my name is Robert. Hi, Robert. Okay, this is hard and I don't like to talk about it, but maybe my story will help someone else. Many Canadians think that religion is a private matter and it should be kept to yourself. But I posted things about Knox and talked about my community of faith at places I've worked as well. Some of my friends even know that I started leading worship around here at times. And the worst thing is, I'm not even afraid to talk about my spirituality anymore.
It's okay, Rob. It's okay. It's just one step on a long journey. Thank you for sharing tonight. We appreciate you, honestly. It was from the heart. Remember that change doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lifetime. But it happens with each step we take, one step at a time. Let's repeat our prayer together. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
All the usual suspects in that sketch. Thanks so much for that. Every time I see the young people around Knox, it always gives me hope for the future of our church.
I think it's time to hear some more memories. Let's ask Art Godfrey and Orville Henderson to come forward. Art has attended many churches over the years, and Orville's going to tell us about some stories from Knox United in Minnetonka.
Should be the right height. Thanks, Bernie. This is a picture of the Selkirk United Church, and I was asked to speak about that. However, it's only one of the 10 that Ione and I have attended in our moves through the province. So, however, we do have a lot of memories of Selkirk. Our 3 children got baptized there, and Ione did, and we both joined the church there. So we were married in the Melita United Church by Reverend Roger Lowe, of course, who you all know. And my memories of the first church I attended was Purple Hill United Church, and I think Gail would know where that is. There's a couple of memories there that are kind of interesting. One, person that plays the piano, can't think of her name. She used to come down and practice an hour ahead of time. She arrived one morning, opened the door, and there was a raccoon staring her in the face. So she tore back home, which was a mile away, and her son come, and of course he disposed of the raccoon. It had been up in the attic and fell down in and couldn't leave. A friend of mine, Hardy Lewis, we got into a fight one day at Sunday school. Of course, that was really well liked, appreciated, and the teacher, Gwen Lewis, wasn't very happy with us about that. So the reason that we moved, well, it wasn't the reason we moved. I was working for Manitoba Pool, and they moved me quite a bit. But every church we attended, I think, was to gain friendships, and that was really great. So every church, which, like I said, there was 10 of them. And finally we came, Pool Elevators moved me here. And the reason we attended this church, it was the closest church to the home. But it did fit in with our beliefs and everything, and I've really been happy here. And thank you very much for being friends of us. Thank you.
Now, Bernie was very clear when he approached me. He said, 2 minutes or we'll pull you off the stage. So I've really shortened up what I was going to share with you. And I'm just going to go some memories from childhood. The roads are all blown in. Our only way to Minnetonka is by horse and hay rack, piled high with straw for our comfort, along with our big old parkas and robes with our white shirts underneath. And Dad is making a shortcut, not following the car roads anymore, getting there as quickly as possible, because we're talking about cold. we're talking about January. We arrive at the church. Other family horses, racks, and cutters are parked along the street and in the lot next door. We don't have a cutter anymore. It burnt not too long ago, so we're using a rack with straw in it. Now we rush up the steps, entering a very crowded porch. I'm feeling really crowded out as a 6-year-old kid. Everybody greeting and hugging and how you doing? Is it snowing up in the bush like down here? What's going on? And then us struggling to get our old parkas off and hung up or piled in the first pew at the back of the church. There's my regular kids along with friends with a new guy, Charlie Green, a First Nations heritage kid adopted by our newest minister, Reverend McIntosh. And I've just met Charlie skating on Saturday at the rink. Now my friends and I sit in the front pews, hugging, pushing, and rather making a noise, but we're enjoying each other. Then there's a loud chord on the piano to signal that we're to settle down and us kids to stop goofing around and be quiet. Time has passed. It's now 1953, and the men have spent the last winter up in the mountain, cutting logs and getting them sewn up in Johnson's sawmill, lumber to build our new United Church, because this old one's way too small now. And we're meeting for this morning's service in the Anglican Church just across the road from this new building project that's going on. We have a new minister now in our charge, which includes Bozeman and Birch River, 20 plus miles up the valley as well. Reverend Hickerson's his name. He's a younger man, and he's encouraging a younger people's group to get started on Sunday nights. There are about 15 of us that'll be in this new group. Some of us, me included, are pretty young to be part of this, but we're in there. We're pleased that Keith Fulford is going to be the leader in this young people's group, as he's liked by all of us. Now, I've just attended my first burial service this spring. My cousin Jim Henderson was killed up in the bush. A branch from another tree close by that he was cutting came off and crushed his head. The truth is, I'm really confused by it all, not knowing about death. I've seen lots of it on the farm with our farm animals, but this is a friend. Leaves me feeling very off balance, wondering how can I get back to trusting my daily life as a kid. I'm now nearly 19 years old. It's late August. I've been accepted into the University of Manitoba in the U of M in the agricultural program. There are several of us leaving for work or educational training from our young people's group. And this is our last Sunday morning service here in our beloved Knox United Church. I feel very excited about leaving here, leaving home, leaving all that I know. I'm also a bit anxious about how I'll handle all this new stuff when I leave here, leaving Minnetonka.
Thank you, Art and Orville. How many of us here, if you'd raise your hand, have gone to only Knox United Church in Brandon your whole life? Not one of us. Okay, that's interesting. That means that all of us have come here from someplace else. And we've come here to Knox and now consider Knox our home church, our community of faith. I wonder how many of us are familiar with the history of this church, of Knox United Church. We're going to ask Peggy Barrows to come forward and say a little bit about that. Peggy?
That's good. I don't know why I should be doing the history. I mean, I must be one of the most recent people that came here, 2012, 10, I think it was. Anyway, I was always interested in a timeline. And I must say that one of the stories that we've already heard tonight, I lived through. Because I was at that church when that little boy crawled up under the pews and got up and sat with Dave. He picked him up. His parents were aghast. They hoped that Dave would get mad at him or he'd get scared or something and he'd stop being so friendly around church. Anyway, lots of history, lots of different things. So as I was thinking about this service, or about the event yesterday, I was reading a special edition of Broadview. A portion of the editorial by editor Jocelyn Bell wrote some words that I thought were appropriate for tonight. And I quote, "At this publication's editors wrote a century ago," so this is the editorial from 1925, in their June 10th unsigned editorial, "Church union happened because the founding members understood how much they possessed in common of the great essentials of our faith and how trifling were those that divided us. Uniting despite differences wasn't just the thing to be done," they wrote. "It was an idea to be cherished," unquote. So here we are 100 years later, and hopefully we cherish some of those same things as we move into the future of our faith community. On the east wall, you'll see a number of different things. We have put a timeline, and there's some historical papers and different things that have been added, showing some of the major events that were going on in the world and in Canada, in the national church, and for us here, most especially, what was going on in Knox United Church. The timeline is an exercise in an old interactive type of exercise. You know, they talk about these phones and how you can be interactive. Well, this one's interactive too. We invite you to be a part of it, to take a sticky they're found at the back by the soundboard, and if there's a special event that you want to remark upon, take that, write it down, and put it up on the board. If you can find a spot at the right time, right years, do so. But if not, we'll see it when it's there. Anyway, we invite you to do that. The timeline, we hope, will be up for some time this year, and so it will be added to, and lots of different things as the evenings go on. Of course, we look back, but we are headed into the future. So I also invite you to dream some dreams for the next 100 years, and add those to the end of the timeline. There's some other papers there, so just wherever you can find it, put up your dreams of what we can do and how we can look to the future after having glanced back at the last 100 years. Tell us what happens in the next 100. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Peggy. Well, Bernie and the choir have prepared a very special anthem for tonight's program. It is a hymn that was sung at Knox's inaugural service in this building on April the 15th, 1956.
Thanks. So choir, come on up. And while they're doing that, I did steal this picture from the the display at the back. So this is a picture of Muriel Bain, and Muriel was the choir director from 1938 to 1970. So she was at the other church down the street, and then came along here. So if I do my math, she started in 1938 and went to 1970, so I think that's maybe 32 years. So it's given me a little bit of a problem because I just sort of did 30 years, so I guess you're stuck with me for at least 2 more so that I can beat her record. The other thing, Lydia, maybe help me here. Muriel has connections to this church. Her
son-in-law was Gordon and Barb Sefton, who attended this church for many years, and then grandchildren Mark Sefton and Nancy Sefton. Mark was a longtime high school teacher here in Brandon and became a trustee on the school board.
This is the original music from that time. And they're all singing off it also. It's a little ratty, by the way. Okay, that's it. Thank you, choir. So after that stellar performance. The choir has unanimously agreed that we file that piece until the bicentenary. So that would be another 100 years. And we'll all be back to sing that for your enjoyment.
Bernie, you mentioned that you've been leading this choir for a few years now. How many again?
I think it's about 30.
So you would have seen quite a few changes.
And she's 32.
And Jane's 32.
Is it? Or 3? Oh, sorry.
33. So I suspect over 33 years, you've seen a lot of changes in the hymns that we sing, the anthems, and the words that we use, right?
Yes. And sometimes the words to the hymns and the anthems just don't jive with our theology and our changing understanding of God. And you folks over there know quite well that we do change the words often. So, I think maybe Hyacinth might have something to say about all that. Oh, here she comes.
Well, apparently, I'm not allowed to say Father anymore. No King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I can't even say mankind. Who do they think they are? Oh, who do they think they are? Taking my God, the God I have loved and prayed to my entire life, and changing him into some sort of a mother-father hybrid God? Why, just the other day, in the middle of worship, I opened my hymn book to find words crossed out. In a hymn book. Words crossed out and new ones penciled in. That must be some kind of a sin. I don't know what kind, but it must be some kind of a sin. God in a dress. What a ridiculous idea. I won't stand for it. I can't stand for it. I am leaving the church. And this is truly the last you'll see of me.
Poor Hyacinth. She'll be back eventually because she loves this church, even though it stretches her way beyond, way outside of her comfort level. The changes in our church and our theology and our words and our understandings have not always been easy for us, but our God is always on the move, and we grow along too.
We see and we sing those changes often in our hymns and our choir anthems.
Right. What was that quote from Augustine of Hippo? He who sings prays twice. Or to be more inclusive, and sorry, Hyacinth, those who sing pray twice. We sing our theology, and that theology changes as the years progress.
So why don't we take each of our hymn books from our United Church history and sing one of the most popular tunes from each one.
Great idea, Bernie. We already sang Holy, Holy, Holy from the hymnary, the blue one, and after the blue one came the hymn book we all loved to complain about. Do you remember that one? The red one? The red one that we shared with the United Church of, the Anglican Church of Canada. It came out in 1971 when the United Church and the Anglican Church were in conversations about the possibility of joining together to form a United Church. Well, it probably wouldn't be called United. Anyway, that never happened. But we still had the red hymn book, and we still sang from it for at least 2 decades.
One of the most popular hymns from the red hymn book was this one. Some of you will remember Muriel Bain, as I just showed you the picture of. She was the choir director here during that era. She loved this one, and I remember Bill Burgess loved it too. And we all sang it with gusto, Lord of the Dance. You can stay seated. Then along came the Green Book, Songs for Gospel People in the 80s. This was the book that saved us from the Red Hymn Book and gave us the whole repertoire of new hymns. Your kids and mine learned a lot of them in their growing up years here at Knox. Spirit of Gentleness, She Flies On.
And here's one of our favorites from those years, Part of the Family. We'll stay seated again.
And then in 1996, along came Voices United, a hymn book that expanded our hymnody even further, including hymns and songs from other cultures, reflecting our growing understanding of ourselves as an intercultural church.
And here's a favorite that comes to us from South Africa.
Interesting how those old songs, we seem to have a better sound out here than these new ones. We have sung hymns in a lot of different languages. Maybe we aren't always great at it, obviously, but we give it our best.
And that's right. Singing songs from other cultures is a part of our acknowledgement that as a church, we need to draw our circle wide, far wider than we ever could have imagined back in 1925. We are examining our colonial past and beginning to make amends for our blindness in our relationships with our Indigenous kin.
And Affirm United has opened our eyes not only to our gay and lesbian neighbors, which came before General Council in the Great Debate of 1988, but also to our transgender and gender diverse family.
And those among us who have different heritages, different abilities, differing socioeconomic backgrounds. We are all included in the circle that is the United Church of Canada.
Why don't we sing about it?
Why don't we?
Draw the circle wide.
Please stand. We just need a couple of minutes to get set up here.
Here we are. We are at the end of our play.
100 years. It's been quite a ride.
And there have been some ups and downs.
And ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs.
But we've weathered the storm. And from here on out, it's smooth sailing.
You think?
My friend, the future is so bright. You know, think about everything the church has done. We just got a little suntan here. And everything it still can do. You can't help but be hopeful.
Well, I'm sure glad you feel that way.
You don't?
I didn't say that.
Look, see these optimistic young people?
Look out there, Rose. Do you see it? Possibilities for new partnerships with our global partners. Opportunities to reach out with technology. Reconciliation with indigenous peoples. And an opportunity to provide a new perspective on the ecological crisis. It's right there in front of us, Rose.
I see it, Jack. I see it.
Oh, that's so nice.
Do you trust me, Rose?
Oh, I trust you, Jack.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'm king of the world.
Did you do this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is this you?
No.
Bosun, report.
Aye, Captain. Sir.
Well done. We should be reaching our destination in good time. I'll be in my quarters.
Oh, one thing, Captain.
Yes, lad?
It's hardly worth mentioning.
Come on then, out with it.
Well, take a look at this.
Whitecaps? No!
That's what I thought at first too, sir.
Ah, I see now. Aging demographic.
And declining membership.
Increasingly secular society.
Yeah.
Reduced resources for mission, theological education, social justice advocacy.
Yeah.
This is not good.
Good thing we're unsinkable, right, Captain? Right?
Sound the alarm!
Aye, aye, Captain! Iceberg, dead ahead!
Iceberg, dead ahead! Iceberg, dead ahead! Bring us more to port, bosun!
Aye, Captain! Which one's port again?
Port is,
Stern's in the back, right?
Right!
No. Not right. Back.
No, I'm telling you, you're right! The stern is at the back!
Both of them are left?
Port is left! In God's name, turn the wheel!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh, port!
It's still getting closer.
To the right! Turn the wheel!
You mean starboard?
Yeah, turn the wheel!
The chairs!
Stairs!
No good, Captain. It's still getting closer.
Okay, the other side.
The other side! The other side! The other side! The other side! The other side!
No good. No good.
Okay, facing.
Facing each other.
Facing
each other. Get rid of the chairs altogether! Facing out, that's better.
Yeah, we're getting rid of them.
Get rid of her!
I'm sorry, Captain.
Abandon ship!
Abandon ship!
Prepare the lifeboats! Women and children first!
I believe most of the women and children are off, sir.
Gentlemen, it has been an honor serving with you. Nearer, my God, to thee. Nearer to thee.
Jack, what are we gonna do?
Whatever you do, Rose, don't let go. I don't care if you have to become a faith-based social justice coalition or a house church. Whatever you do, Rose, please just promise me you'll go on.
Oh, don't talk like that, Jack. Someone will come for us soon.
Oh, I'm so cold, Rose, and honestly, the kids have hockey practice every Sunday morning. Just promise me that you'll go on, Rose.
Oh, Jack.
I'm so cold.
Jack, come back. Jack. Oh, hang on, Jack. Jack, come back. Jack, come back. Jack, come back.
What the hell just happened here? You did this?
Look, I'm really sorry.
Sorry is just not good enough.
Well, can I try to make you feel a little bit better?
Good luck.
Well, come with me. Come on. Come here. Have a look. Take a look up there.
The iceberg. It's gone.
Yep.
You did this for me? How?
Global warming. What? The iceberg just melted away. The ocean level's up 6 feet, so our destination is completely underwater. And most of this doesn't matter anymore. Bernie, we're not the Titanic. We're the Ark. And you're welcome.
So, if the church is not the Titanic headed for certain disaster, maybe we are the Ark, like Noah's Ark, on the way to a new and fresh start.
Right, sailing on seas that are pretty rough sometimes, with an uncertain future and many, many challenges which threaten to upend the whole endeavor.
Come what may, we are still the church, with a century of adventure behind us, and we trust many, many more years to come. In time, we may look very different than we do right now, but we go forward into the future with faith, hope, and love, knowing that God goes with us.
Well said, Bernie. Let's invite the Knoxing Around Comedy Club back onto the chancel from the depths of the ocean floor. And they're going to lead us in affirming our common faith together. The words are going to be on the screen. Oh, we're having trouble getting up. We're not as young as we used to be. Would you all stand, please, and let's affirm our faith, reciting a new creed. We are not alone. We live in God's world. We believe in God, who has created and is creating, who has come in Jesus, the Word made flesh, to reconcile and make new, who works in others and others by the Spirit. We trust in God. We are called to be the church, to celebrate God's presence, to live with respect in creation, to love and serve others, to seek justice and resist evil, to proclaim Jesus crucified and risen, our judge and our hope, in life, in death, in life beyond death. God is with us. We are not alone. Thanks be to God. Let's draw our program now to a close the way we did all our Sunday services in years gone by.
Let's give it up for the Knoxing Around Comedy Club. And thank you to all of you who participated in tonight's program, the Spirit Kids Club, the planning team, Peggy, the home church presenters, Jane, the choir, Kendra, who put all the PowerPoints together, Rob back in the sound booth, Colleen on PowerPoint, and live streaming. And thanks to all of you for coming here and celebrating with us tonight. And all of you have a safe trip home, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning.